Okay, let's talk about a technology that is quietly, but very quickly, reshaping the entire global balance of power. I'm talking about hypersonic weapons. And look, these aren't just faster missiles. They are a totally revolutionary and, as we're about to see, incredibly dangerous new chapter in modern warfare. So what makes them such a massive threat?
You hear that phrase a lot, game changer. And that's exactly why the world's major powers, we're talking the US, Russia, and China, are now locked in this incredibly high stakes race to build them. They're all scrambling to develop a weapon that's so fast and so agile, it threatens to completely rewrite the rules of war as we know them.
So, what is it that makes these weapons so different? Well, to really get it, you first have to understand the problem they were designed to solve. It's this fundamental trade off that has limited military planners for decades.
For years, you basically had two options. On one side, you had ballistic missiles. They're unbelievably fast, but they fly on a really predictable arc. You can basically think of it like a high-tech cannonball. On the other side, you had cruise missiles. They're super agile, they can hug the terrain, but they are much, much slower. For years, the Holy Grail was finding a way to combine the speed of one with the maneuverability of the other.
In this is the solution they came up with, the Hypersonic Glide Vehicle, or HGV. So instead of that predictable arc, that thrown baseball we talked about, picture this thing maneuvering to the upper atmosphere like a stone skipping across a lake. It gets an initial boost from a rocket, but then it glides, making these wild, unpredictable turns all while traveling at more than 5 times the speed of sound.
And this chart, wow, it really shows you the terrifying result of that speed. To travel 1,000 kilometers, a normal cruise missile takes over an hour. A hypersonic weapon covers that same distance in about 10 minutes. Think about that. By the time it's even detected, the window for any kind of defensive response just evaporates. It shrinks from minutes down to literally seconds.
That incredible speed is exactly why this tech has kicked off a brand new global arms race. So the big question is, who's actually building these things? Well, at the very top, you've got the big three. Russia was actually the first one to get there, deploying its avant-garde system way back in 2019. And, that move lit a fire under its rivals. China has shown off its DF-17, and the United States is pushing multiple programs forward, trying to catch up fast. But hold on, it's not just a big three race anymore. Not by a long shot. As you can see here, other major powers are jumping into the game. France, India, Japan, Australia, they're all developing their own programs. The fear of being left behind is fueling this truly global competition. Okay, so this is the most crucial part to understand. This is not just about a faster weapon. The reason this technology is seen as so profoundly dangerous for global stability, well, it goes way beyond just speed. So let's really dig into that. What is it about this technology that makes it so uniquely destabilizing? Experts really point to 3 core dangers. First up, as we saw in that chart, is the shrinking decision time. That insane speed, combined with a flight path you just can't predict, leaves a defending nation with mere minutes, maybe less, to detect a strike, figure out what it is, and decide how on earth to respond. It puts an almost impossible amount of pressure on leaders in a crisis. The second danger, and this one is genuinely terrifying, is what experts call warhead ambiguity. You see, an incoming hypersonic missile could be carrying a normal explosive, or it could be carrying a nuclear warhead, and there's simply no time to figure out which one it is. So a leader under attack is pretty much forced to assume the absolute worst-case scenario, and that right there dramatically increases the risk of a catastrophic mistake. And number 3, this whole thing creates a classic vicious arms race spiral. See, hypersonic weapons were designed specifically to beat missile defenses. So what do you think happens next? Exactly. Nations are now pouring billions into building new defenses just to stop hypersonics. It's a textbook cycle of action and reaction that makes the world more dangerous, not safer. So when you put all of these pieces together, what you get is a really precarious new reality. These weapons are creating a world that is fundamentally less stable and far more prone to a crisis spinning out of control with terrifying speed. In fact, the speed of these weapons brings back a chilling piece of logic from the height of the Cold War, the use it or lose it dilemma. The thinking goes like this. In a tense standoff, a leader might feel pressure to launch their hypersonic weapons first, simply because they're afraid that if they wait, their opponent will strike first and take those very weapons out.
It's a perfect recipe for instability. When you get right down to it, these weapons act as a primer for increased competition. Instead of making any single nation safer, they're just an accelerant. They're pouring fuel on the fire of superpower rivalries and threatening the very strategic stability that, for the most part, has kept the peace for decades. So we're left with this deeply unsettling question. At a time when a lot of the old arms control agreements are already falling apart, this new, faster, and even more dangerous arms race is just getting started. And it makes you wonder, is there any way to hit the brakes on this thing before it's too late?